Hi guys, today's video is on solve quadratics using the quadratic formula. Our first problem that I'm going to show you is 10x squared minus 3x equals 4. The important thing to remember is it needs to be in the standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So looking at my problem, I noticed that it's not in standard form because it's equal to 4, not equal to 0. So what I need to do is get this 4 on the other side of the equal sign by subtracting 4 on both sides. So in standard form, I have 10x squared minus 3x, and the opposite of 4 is negative 4. And if I move this 4 over here, the other side is just equal to 0. Now I see that the correct form, the standard form, a is equal to 10, b is equal to negative 3, and c is equal to negative 4. Using the quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. For each b, a, and c, I'm going to plug in these values here. X equals the opposite of b is negative 3 plus or minus square root. This b squared is negative 3 squared minus 4 times 10 times c is negative 4 all over 2a is 10. And everywhere where I substituted, I use parentheses. Let's continue on with our work. The opposite of negative 3 is positive 3, plus or minus the square root. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. Now negative 4 times 10 times negative 4, I multiply these three numbers. Negative 4 times 10 is negative 40. Now I'm going to multiply by negative 4, which gets me positive 160. So for this chunk, I'm going to put positive 160 underneath my square root. Divided by 2 times 10 is 20. My next step, simplify. 9 plus 160 is 169. The square root of 169 is 13. So now plus or minus means I'm going to split this up into two different equations. One, I'm going to add 3 plus 13 over 20, or I'm going to minus 3 minus 13 over 20. Let's work these out. So now plus or minus means I'm going to split this up into two different equations. One, I'm going to add 3 plus 13 over 20, or I'm going to minus 3 minus 13 over 20. Let's work these out. 3 plus 13 is 16 over 20. When I simplify this, you can divide by 4 on the top and bottom, and that gets you 4/5. Or 3 minus 13 is negative 10 over 20. Divide each side by 10, and that gets you negative 1 over 2. So my two answers are x equals 4/5 or x equals negative 1/2.